Ever wonder what would happen if the lights went out and never came back on? I'm not talking about a local blackout from a storm. I'm talking about a nationwide shutdown of America's power grid. It sounds like a movie plot, but the scary truth is, our power grid, the lifeblood of our modern world, has become a major national security risk. Let's unplug from our daily routine and investigate how this happened. So, what is the power grid? Think of it as a massive, intricate machine. It's a network of over 7,300 power plants, millions of miles of transmission lines, and countless substations, all working in concert to deliver electricity to our homes, hospitals, and businesses. For a century, it was a marvel of engineering, a symbol of American progress. But that same complexity and age are now its greatest weaknesses. The grid is actually three separate networks: the Eastern Interconnection, the Western Interconnection, and the Texas Interconnection. While they operate mostly independently, a catastrophic failure in one could cascade and affect others. The problem is, much of this infrastructure is old. Some transformers, the giant workhorses of the grid, are 40 years old or more. They weren't designed for the 21st century's demands or its threats. And what are those threats? First, let's talk about the physical ones. Our grid is incredibly exposed. In 2013, a sophisticated sniper attack on a substation in Metcalfe, California, knocked out 17 giant transformers. The attackers knew exactly where to shoot to cause maximum damage. Luckily, they were able to reroute power and avoid a major blackout, but it was a terrifying wake-up call. There are thousands of these critical substations across the country, many in remote areas with minimal security, just a chain link fence. An organized physical attack on several key nodes at once could be devastating. Then there's Mother Nature, who seems to be getting more and more unpredictable. Extreme weather events fueled by climate change are battering the grid. We saw it with the deep freeze in Texas in 2021, which left millions without power in deadly cold. We see it with wildfires in California that force utility companies to preemptively shut off power to prevent their own lines from starting more fires. Hurricanes in the Gulf and East Coast regularly flatten power lines, taking weeks or even months to fully repair. Our grid simply wasn't built to withstand this new normal of extreme weather. But perhaps the most invisible and chilling threat comes from cyberspace. Our power grid is becoming increasingly digitized and connected to the internet. This smart grid technology offers incredible benefits for efficiency and management, but it also opens up a new front for attack. Every connected device is a potential doorway for hackers. And these aren't just mischievous teenagers. We're talking about sophisticated state-sponsored groups from countries like Russia, China, and Iran. U.S. intelligence agencies have repeatedly warned that these groups have already infiltrated parts of our grid. They're not necessarily causing damage yet. They're mapping the systems, planting malicious code, and waiting. They're repositioning themselves to be able to flip a switch and cause chaos at a moment of their choosing, perhaps during a geopolitical crisis. In 2015, Russian hackers did exactly this in Ukraine, successfully shutting down power for over 200,000 people. It was the first confirmed cyber attack to take down a power grid, and it served as a stark warning for the United States. So, why is this so hard to fix? It's a combination of factors. First, cost. Modernizing the entire U.S. grid is estimated to cost trillions of dollars. It's a staggering figure. Second, regulation is a patchwork mess. The grid is owned and operated by a complex web of thousands of different public and private utility companies, each governed by different state and local rules. There's no single person or entity in charge, making it incredibly difficult to implement nationwide security standards. Imagine trying to get thousands of different companies to agree on a single, expensive security upgrade. It's a logistical nightmare. The supply chain is another huge vulnerability. Many of the most critical components, especially the large transformers, are not made in the United States. They're built overseas, and the lead time to get a new one can be over a year. If a coordinated attack or a major solar storm destroyed a few dozen of these, we wouldn't have replacements ready. We'd be waiting months or even years to bring parts of the country back online. So, what does a long-term, nationwide blackout actually look like? It's far worse than just candles and board games. Within hours, communication systems would fail, no phones, no internet. Water treatment plants would stop, meaning taps would run dry or deliver contaminated water. Gas pumps need electricity to work, so transportation would grind to a halt. Grocery stores would be emptied in days, and the supply chain to restock them would be broken. Hospitals would have to rely on backup generators, which only have a limited fuel supply. Modern society as we know it would cease to function. It is, without a doubt, one of the most serious threats to our national security. The good news is, we are not powerless. The government and private industry are waking up to the threat. There are efforts underway to harden physical infrastructure, improve cybersecurity protocols, and stockpile critical equipment like transformers. We're also seeing a push towards a more decentralized grid. Instead of relying solely on massive, centralized power plants, we're exploring microgrid smaller, local power systems that can operate independently if the main grid goes down. Think of a hospital or a university campus with its own solar panels and battery storage that can keep the lights on no matter what. Renewable energy sources like solar and wind, when paired with energy storage, can also make the grid more resilient. But progress is slow, and the threats are evolving every day. This isn't a problem with a single, easy solution. It requires a massive, sustained national effort, a level of investment and coordination we haven't seen in generations. It requires us, as citizens, to understand the stakes and demand action from our leaders and utility companies. Our way of life depends on that constant, reliable flow of electricity. It's time we stopped taking it for granted and started treating our power grid like the critical piece of national security infrastructure it truly is. Thanks for watching. If you found this video enlightening, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others. Let's get this conversation started. See you next time.